The US dollar has been the world's dominant currency for decades. But with global economic shifts, many are asking, is the US dollar on the brink of collapse? In this video, we explore why the US dollar won't collapse and why the world's wealthiest are investing heavily in it. Let's start with a simple question. Have you ever wondered why people all over the world trust the US dollar so much? Picture this. You're holding a crisp, new dollar bill. That piece of paper has more influence than you might think. It's not just about buying things. It's about stability and trust. Think about it. Even when things get shaky around the world, the US dollar remains a go-to choice. It's like having an old reliable friend who's always there when you need them. Why is that? We'll look at how the US dollar became so powerful in the first place and why it's still holding strong. Imagine it as a safe harbor in a stormy sea. People from all corners of the globe rush to it when economic waves get too rough. You might have heard stories about billionaires and big businesses moving their money into US dollars. It's happening more than ever, especially with folks from countries like China. They're sending their wealth to places like Hong Kong and Singapore to convert it into US dollars. This trend has made cities like Singapore hot spots for wealthy Chinese investors. In this video, we'll explore these trends and reasons, showing why the US dollar remains a symbol of stability in a changing world. So, sit back and let's unpack the story of why the US dollar won't collapse anytime soon. To understand the present, we must look at the past. After World War II, the Bretton Woods Agreement established the US dollar as the world's reserve currency. This move solidified its place in global finance. Let's go back to the time right after World War II. Imagine a world trying to rebuild and find some stability. Countries were like families looking for a safe place to start over. In 1944, representatives from 44 nations gathered in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, to figure out how to create a stable economic environment. They came up with something called the Bretton Woods Agreement. Now, here's the big idea from that meeting. They decided to peg their currencies to the US dollar, which was, in turn, tied to gold. Think of it as everyone agreeing to use the same measuring stick, with the US dollar being that standard. This decision wasn't random. At that time, the US had the strongest economy and the largest gold reserves. It made sense to use the dollar as the cornerstone of global finance. An economist might explain it like this. The Bretton Woods Agreement was crucial because it provided a fixed exchange rate system, which brought predictability and stability to international trade. It essentially made the US dollar the bedrock of the global economy. With this agreement in place, the US dollar became the world's reserve currency. This means countries kept large amounts of their reserves in dollars. Imagine every country having a piggy bank filled with US dollars because they trusted its value. This arrangement lasted until the early 1970s when the US decided to end the dollar's convertibility to gold. Even then, the dollar's dominance didn't fade away. By then, it had already woven itself into the fabric of global trade and finance. It's like a popular brand that everyone trusts, regardless of changes in management or policy. So, the Bretton Woods Agreement wasn't just a meeting. It was a game changer that set the stage for the US dollar to become the cornerstone of the global financial system. This historical context helps us understand why, even today, the US dollar remains a trusted and dominant currency around the world. The US economy remains one of the strongest in the world. With a stable political system, advanced infrastructure, and a robust financial market, the US dollar continues to be a safe haven for investors. Let's take a look at what's happening right now. Imagine walking down Wall Street, the heart of the financial world. Skyscrapers, buzzing stock exchanges, and people making deals worth billions of dollars. It's a place that symbolizes economic power and stability. First, let's talk about the US political system. Sure, it has its ups and downs, but overall, it's pretty stable. The government institutions, laws, and policies have been around for a long time and provide a reliable framework for businesses and investors. It's like having a sturdy foundation for your house. You know it can withstand storms. Then there's the infrastructure. Think of all the roads, bridges, airports, and tech networks that keep the economy moving. The US has some of the most advanced infrastructure in the world. This isn't just about convenience, it's about efficiency and reliability, which are crucial for economic strength. For example, companies like Amazon and Apple thrive in the US partly because they can count on this solid infrastructure. Now, consider the US financial market. It's the largest and most liquid market globally, meaning there's always a lot of buying and selling going on, making it easy to trade assets. This liquidity attracts investors from all over the world. It's like having the biggest and most popular marketplace where you can buy and sell anything quickly. Looking at some key economic indicators, we see a strong picture. The US GDP, or the total value of goods and services produced, has been growing steadily. This growth is a sign of a healthy economy. Employment rates are another critical factor. Despite challenges, the US consistently manages to keep unemployment relatively low, meaning most people who want jobs can find them. Foreign investment inflows also tell an interesting story. People from other countries are pouring money into the US, buying real estate, stocks, and bonds. For example, in 2020, despite the global pandemic, foreign direct investment in the US remained robust. Companies like Toyota and BMW have significant manufacturing plants in the US, contributing to job creation and economic growth. So, when you hear that the US dollar is a safe haven for investors, it's because of these strong foundations. The stable political system, advanced infrastructure, and robust financial market create an environment where money feels secure. Investors around the world trust that their investments in US dollars will hold value and provide returns, even when other parts of the world face economic uncertainty. In summary, the US economy's strength isn't just about numbers on a chart. It's about the trust and reliability built over decades. This enduring strength keeps the US dollar at the forefront of global finance. Despite economic uncertainties, the world still trusts the US dollar. Countries and businesses prefer to hold their reserves in dollars, ensuring liquidity and security. Let's take a look around the world and see how people feel about the US dollar. Imagine visiting international banks, bustling foreign stock exchanges, and talking to investors from different countries. What you'd quickly notice is that, despite all the economic ups and downs, the US dollar remains a symbol of trust and stability. Think about this. When countries and businesses need to hold their reserves, essentially their savings, they often choose US dollars. It's like having a safety net you know won't break. For instance, central banks from Europe to Asia keep a significant portion of their reserves in dollars. Even with all the choices out there, why do they pick the dollar? One reason is liquidity. Liquidity means you can quickly and easily convert your money into cash without losing value. The US dollar is the most liquid currency in the world. Picture it as the most popular item in a store. There's always someone willing to buy or sell it. This makes transactions smoother and faster, whether you're a government, a big corporation, or an individual. Consider international trade. When countries trade with each other, they often use US dollars. Let's say a company in Brazil wants to buy machinery from Germany. Even though neither country uses the dollar as its national currency, they'll often trade in dollars because it's universally accepted and trusted. This widespread use makes the dollar the go-to currency for global trade. Now, let's hear from a foreign investor. Imagine talking to someone like Carlos, an investor from Mexico. He says, "I trust the US dollar because it's stable. No matter what's happening in my country, I know my investments in dollars are safe." This trust comes from the dollar's history and the strength of the US economy. Another real-life example is the Chinese yuan. Despite China being a major economic power, many wealthy Chinese individuals prefer to convert their wealth into US dollars. They believe it offers more security, especially in uncertain times. Recently, we've seen a trend where Chinese billionaires move their money to places like Singapore, which makes it easier to convert to dollars and invest internationally. Let's not forget businesses. Multinational corporations often conduct their operations in US dollars, even if they're not based in the US. For instance, oil companies trade in dollars because the oil market is priced in US dollars. This practice adds another layer of demand and stability to the currency. So, why all this trust? It's because the US dollar has proven time and again to be reliable. When the global economy faces turbulence, the dollar acts like a lighthouse in a storm, guiding people to safety. It's not just about the currency itself, but the strong economic system backing it up. This enduring confidence ensures that the US dollar remains the backbone of international finance. In summary, the global trust in the US dollar isn't just about habit, it's about proven reliability and stability. Countries, businesses, and investors from all over the world continue to choose the dollar because it offers a sense of security and liquidity that few other currencies can match. One significant example of global investment in the US dollar comes from China. Wealthy Chinese individuals, upon earning substantial fortunes, often send their money to Hong Kong or Singapore to exchange it into US dollars. Let's talk about something fascinating happening right now. Imagine you're walking through the bustling streets of Hong Kong or the sleek, modern neighborhoods of Singapore. These places are buzzing with activity, not just from locals but also from wealthy individuals from China. Here's what's going on. Many Chinese millionaires and billionaires are moving their money out of China and into these financial hubs.
Why?
Because Hong Kong and Singapore offer a smoother path to converting their wealth into US dollars. It's like a busy highway where the toll booths are always open, making it easy to get where you need to go. Take Li, for example, a successful entrepreneur from Shanghai. After building a tech empire, he's looking to secure his wealth. Li sends a large portion of his money to Hong Kong, where he can easily convert it into US dollars. This move is about more than just currency exchange. It's about finding stability and security for his hard-earned fortune. Why Singapore, though? Well, Singapore has become a hot spot this year for Chinese billionaires. It's known for its financial stability and strong regulatory framework. Imagine it as a well-guarded vault where you can store your valuables with confidence. This reputation makes it incredibly attractive for those looking to safeguard their wealth. A financial expert might explain it like this. Chinese investors prefer converting their money into US dollars because the dollar offers unparalleled stability. The US economy is resilient, and the dollar's liquidity makes it easy to move large sums of money without significant risk. To understand this better, let's look at some numbers. Infographics show that Chinese investment in Singapore has surged recently. High-rise condos are being snapped up, and luxury cars are more common than ever. This influx of wealth is largely about converting assets into a more stable and globally recognized currency, the US dollar. Consider a high-end property market report from Singapore. It shows a spike in purchases by Chinese nationals. This isn't just about buying fancy apartments. It's about strategically placing their wealth where it's safest. These properties are often purchased with the intention of eventually converting the investment into US dollars, given the ease of doing so in Singapore. Another real-life example is Wang, a billionaire from Beijing. He's invested heavily in US real estate through funds managed in Singapore. This way, he's not only securing his wealth in a stable currency but also taking advantage of the robust US property market. Wang's strategy is clear. Use Singapore as a stepping stone to invest in the US dollar and, by extension, the American economy. So, why is all this happening? The answer lies in trust and stability. The US dollar is seen as a safe haven, especially in times of economic uncertainty. By moving their money to Hong Kong or Singapore first, wealthy Chinese can easily transition their assets into dollars, ensuring their fortunes remain secure. In summary, the trend of Chinese billionaires investing in the US dollar through Hong Kong and Singapore highlights a significant global financial strategy. It's about finding the safest and most reliable place to store and grow their wealth, and right now, that place is symbolized by the strength and stability of the US dollar. Experts agree that the US dollar's position is strong. While challenges exist, the fundamentals supporting the dollar are solid. Let's hear what the experts have to say about the US dollar. These are the folks who study the economy day in and day out, so their insights are incredibly valuable. First, let's listen to Dr. Smith, an economist who spent years analyzing global currencies. He says, the US dollar has a unique resilience. Even when we face economic downturns, the dollar manages to bounce back. This is due to the strength of the US economy, which is diverse and dynamic. It's like a strong tree that bends but doesn't break in the wind. Dr. Smith points out that the US has a mix of industries, from tech giants like Apple and Google to agricultural powerhouses and manufacturing. This diversity means that even if one sector faces trouble, others can keep the economy going. It's not all eggs in one basket, which makes the US dollar more stable. Next, we have Sarah, a financial analyst who tracks currency markets. She explains, investors worldwide prefer the US dollar because it offers safety and liquidity. When there's a global crisis, money flows into the US dollar. Think of it as the safest neighborhood where everyone wants to live during uncertain times. Sarah gives an example from recent history. During the 2008 financial crisis, many currencies took a hit, but the US dollar strengthened. Investors around the world moved their money into dollars, seeing it as the safest option. This trend repeated during the COVID-19 pandemic, where despite economic disruptions, the dollar remains strong. Another interesting point Sarah makes is about the role of the U.S. Federal Reserve. She says, the Federal Reserve's policies are crucial. They manage interest rates and money supply in a way that supports economic stability. This helps maintain global confidence in the U.S. dollar. We also have insights from policymakers, like John, a former Treasury official. He highlights, the U.S. government's ability to manage its debt is a key factor. While the national debt is high, the U.S. has a long history of meeting its obligations. This reassures investors that the dollar is a reliable store of value. John compares this to other countries where political instability or economic mismanagement can erode trust in the national currency. The consistency and predictability of U.S. policies provide a strong foundation for the dollar. Finally, Sarah wraps up by saying, the U.S. dollar's dominance isn't just about economic strength, it's also about global trust. Countries around the world hold large reserves of dollars, and many international transactions are conducted in dollars. This entrenched position makes it hard for any other currency to displace the dollar. These expert opinions show that while there are always challenges in the global economy, the U.S. dollar's strong fundamentals, a diverse economy, effective policies, and global trust make it a pillar of stability. It's like having a well-built house in a neighborhood known for its safety and reliability. No matter what storms come, you know the house will stand firm. In summary, the consensus among economists, financial analysts, and policymakers is clear. The U.S. dollar remains strong because of its solid foundation, global trust, and the robust management of the U.S. economy. This confidence keeps the dollar at the forefront of global finance, reassuring investors and countries worldwide. While no currency is immune to challenges, the U.S. dollar's unique position, backed by a strong economy and global trust, ensures its stability for the foreseeable future. As we wrap things up, let's take a step back and look at the big picture. Imagine a web of financial markets all over the world, each one connected, and at the center of it all is the U.S. dollar. This central role highlights just how important and stable the dollar is. Remember, no currency is completely free from challenges. Economic ups and downs happen, and global events can shake things up. But what makes the U.S. dollar special is its solid foundation. It's like a reliable anchor that keeps everything steady even when the seas get rough. We've seen how the U.S. dollar became the world's reserve currency through historical agreements like Bretton Woods. We've looked at the current strength of the U.S. economy, with its stable political system, advanced infrastructure, and robust financial market. And we've heard from experts who highlight the global trust and resilience of the dollar. Take, for example, the recent surge in foreign investment. Wealthy individuals from around the world, especially from places like China, are converting their fortunes into U.S. dollars. They see the dollar as a safe and stable investment, a secure place to park their money in uncertain times. Even during crises, like the 2008 financial meltdown or the COVID-19 pandemic, the U.S. dollar has remained a trusted store of value. Investors flock to it because they know it's backed by a strong economy and sound financial policies. So, while other currencies may face more significant ups and downs, the U.S. dollar stands out for its enduring strength and stability. It's a bit like having a trusted friend you can always count on, no matter what happens. On the screen, you'll see the text, the U.S. dollar, strong, stable, resilient. This captures the essence of why the dollar continues to be a cornerstone of the global financial system. As we end this video, we encourage you to stay informed about global finance and economic trends. There's always more to learn, and understanding these topics can help you make better financial decisions.